Now we are talking about the sphenoid bone on the norma basalis of the skull. So sphenoid bone is made up of a centrally placed body. Here this is shows as a body. This is called a body of the sphenoid. Paired greater wing of the sphenoid and a lesser wing of the sphenoid, and two downward projecting pterygoid fossa processes. These are called the pterygoid processes. The body of the sphenoid, this is centrally placed, a cube of the bone containing two large air sinuses, they are called the sphenoid sinuses, and they are separated by a septum. Pterygoid processes, the pterygoid processes, this is present from the junction of the body and the greater wing of the sphenoid. So this is the pterygoid process, and this pterygoid process contains two plates. This is called the medial plate and this one is called the lateral plate. As already we will discuss the we was discussing the medial plate of the pterygoid plexus. So again we are only summarize it. The medial plate of the pterygoid fossa, this is the medial. It has two ends. This one is called the inferior end, this is called the superior end. The inferior end contains a hook-like projection which is called the hamulus, and the superior end, it has two parts. See, this one is the superior, it has two ends, and between this there is another depression. This is called a depression which is called the sphenoid fossa. Between the medial and lateral pterygoid, it is separated by another fossa which is called the pterygoid fossa. This is a V-shaped. The fused anterior border of two plates. This is the fused anterior border of the two plates. This point. The fused anterior border of the two plates articulate medially with the perpendicular plate of the palatine bone, and these are separated laterally from the body of the maxilla by pterygomaxillary fissure. So point to be noted, here is a location of the pterygomaxillary fissure. So now we are discussing about the lateral plate. This is the lateral plate. This is the lateral plate of the pterygoid fossa. This is the medial plate, and this depression is called the pterygoid fossa. So this is the lateral plate. The lateral pterygoid plate, it is directed backward and laterally, and it has two surfaces as here. The outer surface is called the lateral surface and the inner surface is called the medial surface. The lateral surface forms this lateral surface as here. It shows that in anatomical position, this is the lateral plate of the pterygoid fossa, and it acts as a medial wall of the infratemporal fossa. So this is the inferior temporal fossa. The posterior border sometimes as a projection. The lateral plate of the posterior wall. Sometimes posterior border sometimes forms a projection which is the pterygospinous process, and it projects towards the spine of the sphenoid. And this is the greater wing of the sphenoid.